Right. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another video on That's Football Guy. Fresh from another crazy night at the World Cup. Wow, just drama. All three games last night was just drama after drama after drama. And I'd like to get into a little chat today, talk about it, and look ahead to the rest of the World Cup. It's, if anything, like last night, it's going to be a stellar end to the tournament. It is, and I see a lot more upsets coming, and it's gonna be a good one, right, guys? Just let's smash into it. So first of all, yesterday, Brazil versus Japan. Where do you start with that game? Brazil getting out the hook late on, thanks to Gabriel Martinelli. Casemiro rolling back the years as what he's been doing at United. Nice flick off the head into back at net. But Japan taking a shock 1-0 lead. And for quite a lot of the game, I actually thought Japan were going to pull it off. And it was actually a real quite shock that in the end Brazil managed to pull through. They were comfortable up until Casemiro. Well, actually up until the second half, really. Even before Casemiro scored, Brazil had a few chances. But if Japan had played the right pass 2 or 3 times, it could have been more than just 1-0 at the time before, of course, Brazil roared back. But it's just a beauty, isn't it? And now Brazil going to face... Brazil got either Norway or Ivory Coast next, which that'll be tough for them. But no, what a game it was. And fair play to Japan. They didn't shy down. They didn't back down to the task that was in hand. It was mesmerising. It was good. It was a good start. It was a good start to yesterday's games, and pretty much just Vinicius Junior nearly pulling off one of the best World Cup goals that we'll ever see, but unfortunately, I think he hit the post. Either hit the post or put it just wide. But yeah, all in all, Brazil lucky to go through in the end. Lucky to go through, I'll say that. And people are going to argue with me, no, they weren't lucky. They dominated the second half. Yes, I agree. They did dominate the second half, but if Japan had picked off the right pass 2 or 3 times, then it would have been a different story. But Gabriel Martinelli saving their blushes at the end with that nice finish. Even Suzuki, the goalkeeper, got a little touch on it and nearly saved it. It was just, yeah. Right. That game, Japan held their own, played well, and absolutely fantastic. Fantastic for the neutral. It was fantastic that all these World Cup games, actually in general, haven't been runaway scorelines. They've been just one. Canada, South Africa. Canada scored in the 92nd minute. Brazil, Japan. Brazil scored in the 94th minute. And then we'll talk about the other 2 games. But it's just so good for the neutral that the World Cup isn't being a runaway scorelines, as we've seen with some of the group stage games. But yeah, with that, do I think Brazil now have the belief to go on and win it? There's a chance. There is a chance champion teams win when not playing well, and Brazil have the players to get themselves out of danger. Lau Ryan at Bournemouth, he looks a good prospect, and he looks like he's doing well this World Cup. Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro doing well. Lucas Paquetá had an okay game, not the best thing. And then you've got Gabriel and Marquinhos. So Brazil have the players, but they also have the experience. And if they do get past Ivory Coast or Norway, depending whoever it is, then there will be a tough ask later on down the line, potentially in the quarters for England. So, and they've got a serial winner as the coach, Don Carlo Ancelotti. Everyone knows how much of a good coach Carlo Ancelotti is. Won multiple Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. Won the Champions League with AC Milan. Coached some of the best players in the world. And he's the right fit for them. But we'll soon see for Brazil as the tournament goes on. We'll soon see what it'd be like coming up against Ivory Coast and Norway in the next round, because both of them teams like to attack, and it will be an interesting watch. Now, On to the next game, and we're going to talk about Germany versus Paraguay because that was just nuts. Literally just nuts. And Cisco put in Paraguay 1-0 up. Germany looked like they weren't going to do much. Kai Havertz scoring the equaliser. Jonathan Tah getting a goal disallowed in extra time, which it's the same goal Arsenal have been scoring all season, which is the worst part about it. Arsenal getting fired straight. Whoops, sorry, Arsenal. But no, it seems to be happening. And Jonathan Tah, of course, and then in the penalty shootout, Jonathan Tah missing the penalty, which in the end Paraguay ended up winning. So it's a shock. Germany going out early. Paraguay, they deserve. In the end, do I think Paraguay deserved it? Yes. They were defensively solid. The goalkeeper played really, really well. And in the end, Germany just lost their heads. You see him by Jamal Musiala's tackle in extra time, where he just absolutely cleaned out Wado. It happens, it happens. The frustration gets the better of us at times. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Julian Nagelsmann's not a good coach now. He's not. He's finished at top teams and such and such." It happens. If he gets sacked by Germany or he resigns, he'll walk into a club job, no bother, and he'll be able to rebuild his reputation. Not many coaches can handle taking charge of a national team and trying to fit their philosophy in. Problem is with Germany, they've got too many players out of form. Yes, fair enough, Florian Wirtz assisted last night, but he's out of form. Kai Havertz is one of them players that it's Jekyll and Hyde. Jamal Musiala hardly played in this World Cup, I think. I haven't watched much of Germany, but he's creative, but we haven't seen much of it. And you've got the rest of the players, Kimmich, Goretzka, Nemecha. They have a good squad, and it is going to take the right coach to get them right back up off the deck to go ahead for the next Euros and then the next World Cup. But I'm not going to take anything away from Paraguay. They set out the stall, they played well, and they fully deserved it. They fully deserved, in the end, going through. And it would have been heartbreaking for them if Jonathan Tah's goal had stood and they'd have went out. That is where I stand on that game, and that is where I'll turn around and say to myself, yes, that is thing. And I will argue with anyone that Paraguay deserved it. They had a game plan, they stuck to it, and the game plan worked in the end. And Germany just in the end didn't have enough creativity. And then when the chances didn't come, they just couldn't take them. And that's unfortunately in football, we all know if you don't take your chances, then you're going to get punished. And in the end, Germany got punished. But it sets it up with, I'm pretty sure Germany were in France's half now. And now Germany are gone. I think if France beat Sweden later on, pretty sure they play Paraguay, which it's not a foregone conclusion. It's not a foregone conclusion that France beat Sweden later on as well with the way this World Cup goes, but we'll soon see. We will soon see, and we'll just turn around, sit back, watch the World Cup and watch it unfold and just watch the stars come to light. I am hoping in regards to the France-Sweden game, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute. Well, in the next about 5 minutes, talk about it. But I'm hoping within that Isak and Gyökeres prove their worth and somehow Sweden win. Man can only hope. I can only hope. But yeah, we'll talk about. Well, we'll touch on that in a couple of minutes. Just let me get this out the way. But yeah, well done to Paraguay. Seriously, they deserved it, and I can't wait to see how they're going to go for the rest of the tournament. And yeah, long may this continue. Literally, long may these upsets continue, and long may this World Cup, because the more big teams that go out, the more chance England have to getting further and further. And I can only hope. Right, guys. And the final game I want to talk about before we go into the rest? I know I do these videos pretty quickly. I try not to make my podcast go on forever or my YouTube videos go on forever, but next one, Netherlands versus Morocco. This was totally nuts. It was another nuts game. Cody Gakpo thought he'd won it for the Netherlands. God bless his soul when he broke down crying after he'd scored his goal, after everything that's happened to him with his wife's miscarriage and everything. I felt so sorry for him, and then seeing him cry his eyes out like he did, it was so sad to see. But like, there is no thing for me. Cody Gakpo shouldn't have been at the World Cup after that happened. Like, I'll die on that hill, and I'll wait till people turn around and say, "Oh, you're wrong, Luke. You're wrong. You're wrong." And I'm expecting it to come, because I know some idiot or someone will say, "Luke, you're wrong for saying that." But no, he's just suffered a huge loss. He shouldn't have played last night. But if it was down to him, then fair enough. And it just shows the lad's mental strength, and I've got a whole newfound respect for Cody Gakpo for it. But he scored the goal. All his teammates around him started crying his eyes out. They were all comforting him. And then, just when the Netherlands had thought they'd won, Issa Diop in the 90th minute equalised. Game went to penalties, and of course Morocco won on pens. And it's another team that could have went far, has now gone out. So that's two big European nations that have now gone, and you just look at it and you're like, what is going on at the what? Like, Brazil nearly going out, Germany going out, Netherlands going out, all in one day, and you just look at it and you're like, wonder what the odds were on that. I wonder, as a bookmaker looking yesterday, and you look at that and you go, what are the odds? Like, what? I'd have loved to see them. Like, I bet you there is some lucky person out there that hasn't said his name or hasn't showed his bet slip, that yesterday had Paraguay to win on penalties, Morocco to win on penalties, and Brazil and yes, both teams to score. And I'll probably stuck like 50 quid on it or something like that, and the returns will probably be like £1,000 to £2,000 or maybe more. And there'll be some lucky person sat there with that sort of money in his bank. There is always one. But yeah, fair play to Morocco. And I called them at the start of the tournament when we came into this, and I said, Morocco, the last World Cup they reached the semi-finals, and they have some brilliant players, and we shouldn't sleep on them. They're now into the round of 16 after putting out Netherlands. They play Canada. There is no reason why they can't get into the quarterfinals. Like, that is amazing for African football as a whole. For an African team to go deep in one World Cup, but to go deep in two, it's amazing for them. And I salute the head coach. I salute the players, because Moroccan football is in a real good place at the moment with the national team. And they'll have, like I said, Bouadi, and they'll have some more other young talents that'll end up making major moves this summer, because they big clubs won't ignore that. Big clubs will see it as cherry picking and go, mine. It's like that is it that Seagull video? Mine. You know which one I mean. I can't remember if it's out Penguins of Madagascar or whatever it was out of. But was it Penguins of Madagascar? I don't know, but yeah. But fair play to Morocco, and commiserations to Netherlands. But in the other way that you need to look at it, as the Netherlands, why did Ronald Koeman play 5 at the back? Like, why has he played 5 at the back, and why hasn't he just went like full on? Like, I don't get it when they scored that first goal. Like, yeah, fair enough, everyone goes, oh, we need to shut up shop and defend it and this and that. You don't. When it comes to this, like, my belief's probably different to Jose Mourinho, to the rest of them, and probably to the rest of the football fans. When you score one goal, you're in a vulnerable position because you're only one ahead. Well, no shit, Sherlock, pardon my language, but you go and score a second and then you get that comfort blanket. Because football, 90 minutes, it's a long time. We've already proved it. Real Madrid's already proved it, scoring 2 goals in the 90th minute against Manchester City. Other teams have done it. It's been done before. So the problem is, at the end of the day, you need to always have that comfort blanket. And if you're not going to get that comfort blanket, then you don't deserve to win. I'll play an anti-football like Atletico Madrid at times. And Arsenal to an extent. There are teams that'll score one and just sit back. Which, if you're a... I'll give you an example. If you're a low league team... sorry, guys. Sorry. If you're a low league team and you're going to Old Trafford, Anfield, the Etihad, Emirates Stadium, Stamford Bridge, or any other Premier League team, and you go 1-0 up, well, we all know you're going to sit back, and we all know you're going to park the bus, as they call it. But parking the bus doesn't always work. That's just the thing. It doesn't. Go for the second, go for the third, and then you can relax for the rest of the game. Unless you're AC Milan in Istanbul in 2005 against Liverpool. But that's for another day. That is for another day. But yeah, absolutely fantastic advert for football yesterday. And I'm hoping the same tonight. And I think it's... Just give me a sec. Today... Pretty sure I've got it. So let's see what... So 2 games tonight, which, my God, honestly, my head's just gone today. But Ivory Coast, Norway, that's going to be an absolute cracker. Erling Haaland against Jan Diomande and Amad Diallo and Antonio Nusa for Norway. It's going to be a cracking game. And the way Norway play and the way Ivory Coast play, I'm expecting that one to at least have 3 or 4 goals. And I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. And now just watch. It'll be 0-0 and Norway will win on pens or Ivory Coast will win on pens. But I can't wait. I can't wait for that game. And then that just sets us up for France versus Sweden tonight. Which, France versus Sweden, I'm bigging it up to be something it's not. But as we've already proved in this World Cup, underdog stories happen. And Sweden, it's like David versus Goliath tonight. France, the form team, smashed their way through the group stages, as I said yesterday. They have probably the best attack in world football at the moment. Well, international football, the best attack in Elise, Mbappe, Doué, Dembele. Between Dembele and Doué, depends which one of them starts and which thing. But that attack should be enough to carry France through tonight. Tchouameni's been brilliant in midfield. We know that. He's been class. He's slowly getting back to his old self when he was at Monaco before he moved to Madrid. That's why I'm hoping United pick him up. Won't happen, but that's for another day. But this France team tonight should have too much class, too much professionalism for Sweden. Football's 90 minutes and anything can happen. And I'll be watching it with a close eye to see what's going on. And I hope for 2 cracking games. But what we'll do is sit back, watch the games tonight. And then tomorrow, it's the big game for England. So, yeah. My predictions tonight. Norway 3. Ivory Coast 2. and France 4, Sweden 1. They're my predictions, and I'll keep it at that. And we'll check back in tomorrow afternoon when I do another video, and we'll see if I'm right or we'll see how wrong I am. Right, guys, without further ado, that is me off. So keep on rocking and rolling, and I'll see you tomorrow.